Hey everyone, so I don't think I shared this with a lot of people, but during the month of April, I basically tried to do like nobody reads, no themed challenges or read-alongs or readathons or anything for the month, and I just read whatever the crap I wanted. And I was just thinking about how amazing that was and how I also want to do that again for June, just because school will be ending and it's just like the start of summer and just this like, I don't know, amazing opportunity for all what lies ahead, just the anticipation of the summer and all that. But one of the things that I discovered is in doing this month where I read whatever I want, despite loving buddy reads and all that, of course, it allowed me to discover two authors that are maybe one is like not new to me, but I discovered that I actually enjoy her other works and not just one or two of her books. That was Emma Donahue. And I also discovered another author that is now an auto buy for me, and that is Simone St. James. So today I want to talk about the second book I read by her, which is the Sun Down Motel. This is her most recent, and she's definitely, like I said, an auto buy for me. So I will just say first that the things that I love about her stories so much are this like ghost story vibe tied with crime, like crime fiction. And I just like adore her. So anyway, in this book, just like the last one I read, The Broken Girls, there are two timelines kind of going on throughout the story. So the first one is in the early 80s, 1982 to be exact. And basically this girl named Viv, her life's a hot mess. She is kind of like a wild child. And I can't remember if she was like 18, 19. Anyway, as a young adult, she up and leaves her family. She just needs to get away from them. And she decides that she's going to go to New York. However, there's some like problem with her getting there direction wise. And she ends up in this small town, sees a job posted at this motel and ends up just staying there for a while. So she works at the Sun Down Motel, which looks pretty shady as it is, and it was kind of run down in the 80s. But working there, she kind of figures out that it's haunted. So that's definitely one part of the story of this haunted hotel. The other bit of this storyline is that in this town that she's living in, I believe it's called Fell, sorry. There's all these women around her age that have been going, well, I won't even say missing, like they've been murdered. And she begins to think that there's a serial killer involved and that all these cases, which people think are separate, are actually connected. So that is kind of going on in the 80s. Meanwhile, the other story is in 2017, I believe. Yep. So more contemporary, obviously. And it is her niece, I'm trying to think, Carly. I'm so bad at remembering names in books. Her niece, Carly, is telling this version of the story. And basically, Carly's mom has died of cancer. I don't think her dad was ever in the picture. I don't really remember him being discussed. But basically, she's kind of like an orphan, although she's an adult. And she has always been wondering about her aunt, because what you find out is that her aunt is gone. Like, she just disappears. They think that she's been murdered, but they've never found a body. Like, nobody knows what happened to her aunt, and the cops don't really seem to care to find out. And so now, like, years and years later, 2017, her life's kind of a mess because her mom just passed away, and she decides she's going to figure out what happened to her aunt. So she goes to this town of Fell, and she's just kind of searching around. One of the places that she goes to is her aunt's old address, and when she gets there, she's just kind of being a creeper, looking around on the outside, looking like from the outside of her aunt's apartments and whatever. And this girl comes out and says something to the extent of, "Oh, are you here to see the apartment?" or whatever. And Carly definitely wants in, so she kind of like doesn't really say that there's been a misunderstanding, and she goes in to see the apartment anyway. And once up there, her story kind of is forced to come out that she's not really looking for an apartment or a roommate. She is just basically looking for who the heck murdered her aunt. And in doing so, she's looking at this apartment. And so she gets to see the inside and stuff because this other girl thinks that she is viewing the apartment to be a potential roommate. Anyway, they end up becoming roommates anyway, because the other girl is like the coolest and thinks that Carly's story about searching for her aunt is like amazing. And then, like, I don't remember the order of which happened first, but she has an apartment. She also, either before or after, goes to the Sun Down Motel to just kind of also see where her aunt used to work and see what it's like. And there is a help wanted like notice there. So she ends up applying for the job because she's like, well, I'm going to be here to research anyway. I might as well work. And so she ends up not only living in the same apartment that her aunt lived in, but working in the same place and working the same shift as her aunt. So she is working third shift at the Sun Down Motel, which is still haunted and is still super shady. And so it's just this really cool combination of ghost stories, because there are ghosts, and also crime, like all these women that were being killed, and like what happened to my aunt, who murdered her, where is her body, all this sort of stuff. And it is just like so good. You kind of have this outside view as the reader because you are hearing or reading whatever what happened in the 80s, but then you're also following Carly as she investigates. And so one of the cool things along the way was some people you knew were lying because you saw what happened in the 80s. And you're like, why are they not telling Carly the truth? Like, what is going on? I just love this book so much. And so Simone St. James has two books that are like similar in the way the cover is designed, so I'm guessing they're probably from the same publisher. And then she has a whole bunch of like backlist ones, so I'm gonna start reading the backlist as well. But like, Simone St. James, get out another book, because the last two were so good and I need to read more. So auto buy for sure. I'm curious if you guys have read this and what you thought. I just thought it was so fun and I freaking adored it. So anyway, that is all I have to say for today, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.